going on, guys? Welcome back. It's Cody from PackPullers. Super stoked to be back. It has been probably 6 months since our last full upload. We kind of tried doing some shorts here and there, and it was fine, but not what I wanted to do, not my style of video. Things have been so busy, and they're still super busy working through a new job, but I'm able to handle it better. So things are still as busy, but I'm getting better at juggling. So here we are. We're back with a video that I'm really excited about today. And I'm excited for two reasons. We're using a different room in the house. We're gonna find out if this is way too echoey. The lighting's great, so I'm excited about that. But we're gonna try this out and see how it works. And then number two reason why I'm really excited for today is I have been sitting on something that I wanted to make a video on for a while now, and I just haven't had the time. But what we're gonna do today is we're gonna do this mashup style video. So first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna rip one of my new favorite games that I just haven't shown on the channel a whole lot, and I really haven't got to play much in person, but I've been playing it online for a while, and that is Shadowverse Evolve. We've got two of their first starter decks. This is a game that I just pick up here and there every once in a while because there's not a whole lot of local play for it. But I'm hoping that I can get some friends together, start collecting some starter decks, start getting some cards, and have people over to play. But we're gonna be doing two decks. We're gonna be doing the Waltz of the Undying Night, and then we're gonna be doing the Wrath of the Great Worm. And the reason that I picked these two decks to buy and get ready for a video is these are two of my favorite styles to play in most card games, especially in Shadowverse. So the Wrath of the Great Worm is a rampy, get your big guys out as quick as you can. I love ramp. When I play Magic, I play green, that's my thing, is give me the resource, let me get to my win conditions. On the other side of that, the Waltz of the Undying Night is a death as a resource deck, and I love when death rattle effects from Hearthstone or triggers Undying, things like that are great, but this is also uses health as a resource, and I think that's really fun. I like extra resources outside your generic mana pool. So we're gonna be opening these up, we're gonna be ripping them. We'll start with Wrath of the Great Worm, and then I'm really excited for this one. So after we do that, we're gonna sleeve them up. And part two of our video is we're gonna pit Dragon Shield sleeves against Katana. I've been talking this out with friends at my locals, which one do we prefer, and I'm still trying to make my choice. I'm kind of getting on the Katana train. It's just a really good shuffle, but we're going to try it out today. So we're gonna open these up, we're gonna sleeve them up, and then last but not least for our video, I got these really cool deck boxes that I'm super excited about. So I've got a red one and a blue one, and they have this nice stitched lining. They're magnetic top, come with little separators. But most importantly, what works really well for Shadowverse is you've got this little window here in the front. There we go. You got this little window here in the front, and that's where we're gonna put our leader and show it off. So I'm really excited for today. I'm really excited to be back. I'm excited for what we have. So let's get into it. All right, for contestant number one, we're going to be doing the Wrath of the Great Worm starter deck. We're going to be sleeving it up with these Jet, I think it's just a black, yeah, clean black, Dragon Shield sleeves, and then we're gonna be putting it into the blue and black deck box and display our leader in the front. So without further ado, let us rip it. I said I've been excited about Shadowverse for a while now. One, I love the game. I love its mechanics. And I think they did a really good job taking it from a digital format to a physical format. So I've been super excited to show it off. But there just hasn't been a whole lot of time. So let's see what comes in our starter deck. We have a spin down, life counter. Always good to have. Looks like a generic rule sheet that tells us how to play the game and our resources. A playmat. Normally I'd put the playmat down, but we're using our Damnation playmat, and we're not really talking about how to play the game today, so I don't think that's super important. And then we've got some counters. We've got some health and attack counters, some
status, not really status, but effects, taunt, death rat, or poisonous, you know, whatever we want to call it, bane, drain, lifesteal, however you want to refer to it. And then we have our deck. So what we're gonna do is we are going to go through the deck. We're gonna like gloss over everything. We're not gonna spend a whole bunch of time explaining a bunch of stuff, just generic like cost, stats, things like that. So speaking of big things to play, first thing that we have here is Fafnir. Fafnir is an 8-cost Dragoncraft. When it comes into play, it deals 5 damage to each enemy follower on the field. Followers are their units on the field. Has 7 attack and 8 health. That is a big boy. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3. Next, one of my favorite cards, Dragon Oracle. Hopefully you can see the shine on this. When we were talking about ramp, this is where it's at. Choose one of the following effects. 1, increase your maximum play points, which is your resource, by 1, or 2, draw a card. Really, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, there's some kids outside. We'll see if that comes up. Really flexible card. That's what I'm talking about, flexible. If it's late in the game, you can cycle it. If it's early in the game, it's your ramp. Here we have a basic 3-cost, 3/3 Dragon Warrior with the ability to pay 1 and evolve it. Evolving is something very unique to the Shadowverse Evolve game, and we'll see that here in a little bit. Next up, 2-cost Dragon Newt Princess, 2/3. Has a on enter effect. If Overflow is active for you, select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 4 damage. Now that is part of why I love this game so much. Each clan, you know, whatever we call it, Dragoncraft, Shadowcraft, or I think it's Abysscraft in the physical game. Each different group has a unique mechanic. So Dragoncraft is Overflow, and Overflow is active whenever you are at 7 maximum resource or greater. And so it makes it really unique. So it's not just like a variation in color, like, oh, you know, I'm playing white in Magic or I'm playing blue. It's a difference in game mechanics, and I really appreciate that. I love that, it makes it unique. Next up, Dragon Guard, 4-cost, 4/5 with Ward. Ward is taunt from, you know, any other game. It has to be attacked before anything else. If Overflow is active for you, gain +2/+2. So it can come out as a 6/7 with taunt, which is huge. Then we have the Fire Lizard, 2-cost, 3/2. Select enemy leader or follower and deal 1 damage. Cheap little ping. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Dread Dragon. 7-cost, 7/7. Select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 7 damage. So 7-cost, 7/7 that deals 7 damage on enter. Pretty good. Next up, the Rock. Now Rock is really cool. It's a 3-cost, 3/3, but you can evolve it for 0. So we'll see what that looks like here in a little bit. But that's big. Most importantly, because evolving gives it rush, so it can attack enemy units on the turn it comes out instead of having summoning sickness. Now we have the Glint Dragon, 4-cost, 5/3. Select an enemy follower on the field, deal it 3 damage when it comes in. So you can see like these heavy cards with upside, and that's why I love the Dragoncraft so much. Here's some of your early gameplay. Dragon Rider, 2-cost, 2/2. If Overflow is active for you, put a dragon token into your EX area. EX area is like a second hand, a secondary resource that will sit down here, and you can play units from that second hand. Sea Brand Dragon, 4-cost, 4/4. If Overflow is active for you, give this follower Storm. It means it can attack the enemy leader the turn that it comes out. So some burst damage towards the end there. Now we get into some spells. Blazing Breath. Select an enemy follower and deal 2 damage. If Overflow is active for you, deal 4 damage instead. So again, flexibility. I can use that for early game removal, or if I draw it late game, it's even better. Next up, Dragon Wings, 3-cost. Deal 2 damage to each follower on the field that include yours. If Overflow is active for you, deal 3 damage instead. Board Wipe, help you against aggro. Now we're getting into some generic cards. We've got the Goliath, 3-cost, 3/4, cost 2 to evolve it. Angelic Sword Maiden, a 5-cost, 4/6 with Ward. That's about it. Very vanilla. Some spells. Angelic Snipe, select an enemy follower and deal 2 damage. 2 damage for 1, not bad. All right, now we get into the evolved cards. So this is a secondary group of cards that sits outside the game. So it sits in an area over here. And what it does is I can take my Dragon Warrior, and on my turn, I can use this ability here where it says E1, evolve this follower. I can pay 1 and I can turn it into this version, this 4/4 Dragon Warrior. So it gets stats, but it also gets an effect. On evolve, select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 3 damage. So you get stats, you get, not all the time, but this guy in particular gets an extra ability. But what's really nice about evolving is then it can attack that turn. So if you just played that card, you can evolve it, and now it has essentially Rush. I don't know if they call it Rush in Shadowverse or not. So it can immediately start attacking units and get immediate value, which is great. So we've got some evolved Dragon Warriors, and then the Rock. So remember when we saw Rock earlier, it costs 0 to evolve. It does not get the stat boost, but it has the ability Strike. Give this follower 1 attack, 1 health. So when it attacks, before damage resolves, it's gonna get this +1/+1 buff. And if you can pull that off more than once, that's huge. On attack triggers are great. Here's the evolved Dragon Rider. On evolve, if overflow is active for you, give this follower +2 attack. Huge. The evolved Goliath just gets stats, turns into a 5/6. Now here are Evo point tokens. So the player that goes second gets 3 of these. And you can basically use these to pay for your evolved costs instead of using your resource. Now, one of the best parts of Shadowverse is the artwork. I love the art style, but they're leader cards. So in order to play a deck, you have to have a leader. And the one that we're playing is Rowan. He is a Dragoncraft leader. And they're beautiful pieces of art. They have alt art variants. They're gorgeous. Those are your chase cards, but they always look so good. So Rowan's gonna be the one that we use for this deck. And then we have tokens. So we've got our dragon tokens, blank tokens. I guess I can draw on those if I would like and use those. But very nice. That's the quick down and dirty nitty gritty of the Dragoncraft deck. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to sleeve it up, put it in our deck box, and then we'll move on to the next one. So sit tight. All right, first deck down, and we are looking good. Rowan looks sweet in this little display window here. We did learn something. These leader cards, at least the ones that come in the starter deck, are like they're built like these token cards, where they're extra thick. So I actually couldn't put an inner sleeve and then a sleeve on it and put it in the plastic card case that comes. And even with just a sleeve, trying to put it in that plastic card sleeve, it's a little tight, but we're looking good. On to the next one. Moving in is our Abysscraft starter deck. Now this one was expensive. And I'm not sure if it's just because of the that they're difficult to get, or this deck does really well for whatever reason, or what. But this one costs quite a bit more money than the other one. But that's okay. That's okay. We are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to look at some sweet cards and play fun games. We'll do it like we did the other one. All right, so this is our symbol for the Abysscraft. So our whole thing is we're gonna use life as a resource. We're gonna have on-death triggers. That's what we like. So first of all, we have Queen Vampire. She's a 6 cost, 5/5. When she enters, she summons 2 Forest Bat tokens. I can engage her to give my leader -1 health, so I can deal 1 damage to myself, and summon 2 Forest Bat tokens. Whenever a Forest Bat token is put onto my field, I give it +1 health, or +1 attack and ward. So that seems really good. Really good, and we have 3 of those. Up next, Alucard, a 7 cost, 4/4 vampire. He does have Storm though. Now this is what we were talking about with using death as a resource. So Fanfare, Necrocharge, 10. So that means if I have, I believe it means, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, if I have 10 units dead in the trash, in the discard pile, I can banish them to do this Necrocharge effect. So if I have it, Storm, Fanfare, Necrocharge 10, I give this guy +2 attack, and on attack, so it says strike, on attack, select an enemy follower on the field, deal it 4 damage, and give my leader +4 health. That's insane. So it's removal and a heal. It comes in as a 6/4 with Storm. It can hit the face. That's a huge swing. And we have 3 of those. Oh, I love this card so much. Playful Necromancer, 3/3, 3 cost, 3/3, and it can evolve for 1. Next up, Midnight Vampire, 3 cost, 2/4. On enter, summon a Forest Bat token. While this card is on your field, Forest Bat tokens have Drain. So Drain is like lifesteal whenever they deal damage to a unit on attack. It's on attack, right? So whenever a follower with Drain attacks and deals damage, its leader gains offense. So it's not just a unit, it can be enemy players as well, but it's only on attack. So if someone attacks your unit with Drain, you will not get the health. Ooh, that's spooky. Night Horde, oh, it's a spell. 3 costs, summon 2 Forest Bat tokens. Select an enemy follower on the field, deal X damage, X equals the number of Forest Bat tokens on your field. Very nice. And we'll see our Forest Bats here in a little bit, but they're 1/1 bats. So we're gonna spam a lot of those. Up next, we have the Spectre, 2/1, 2 costs, 2/1 with Bane. So Bane is any follower or any unit that is damaged by this is immediately destroyed. So Fanfare, give your leader -2 health and give this guy Rush. So, I mean, that's removal. That's 2 cost removal. It can attack into anything, and oh, also put the top card of your deck into your cemetery. Okay, there we go. All right. Next up, 2 costs, Spartoy? Sergeant. 2 costs, 2/2. Fanfare, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your cemetery. Now you might be saying, well, why would I want to mill myself? Well, that's what feeds your Necrocharge, is having stuff in the graveyard, right? So it's a secondary resource. Next up, we have the Undead King, 6 mana, 6/6. Select up to 2 followers in your cemetery and add them to your hand. The crazy part of that is that it's not random. That's huge. So you can just pull back whatever you want. Next up, 2 costs, 2/2. The Lesser Mummy, you can pay 1 to evolve it. It does have Necrocharge 10. Give this follower Storm if you're a cemetery. Oh, so it's, oh man, it's not the like it is in the mobile game where it's a finite resource where like you use it and it stays there. So this is just if you have 10 cards in your cemetery, your discard, you get to use it. That's crazy. And it gets Storm. So we'll have to see what it looks like when it's evolved. Now, Lilith, 2 costs, 2/2. This is probably why these decks were expensive. That's gonna be my guess. You can pay 1 to evolve this follower. On enter, you put a Forest Bat into your EX area. 3 costs, 3 copies of Lilith. Razor Claw. 2 mana spell, deal 2 damage to your leader, select an enemy leader or follower and deal it 3 damage. So again, there are moments that we want to hurt ourselves. I don't know if there's any of the payoff in here, but we'll see as we go through this deck. Undying Resentment. Select an enemy follower on the field, deal it 3 damage, and put the top card of your deck into your cemetery. Early game removal, gotta love it. Summon Bloodkin. Summon a Forest Bat token and put 1 into your EX area. So 1 cost, you get a 1/1 on the field and a 1/1 in your secondary hand. Now we've got some generic cards. Fighter, 2 cost, 2/3. Goliath, we've seen him before, 3 cost, 3/4. He can evolve for 2. The Angelic Sword Maiden, 5 cost, 4/6 with Ward. Now we get into our Evolve deck. So the Playful Necromancer on Evolve is a 4/4 and summons 3 ghost tokens. Our ghosts are these 1/1s with Storm that die at the end of the turn. So it's a good bit of burst. There is the Lesser Mummy. So if we have Necrocharge, it gets Storm. So then you get this 3/3 with Storm, and on strike, summons a ghost token. There's Lilith. Evolved, strike, give your leader +2. The nice thing about that is it's just on the attack. Goliath, 5/6. And then our play points, and most importantly, Luna, our leader. No foiling to this, but still absolutely beautiful. So after Luna, we have our tokens. We have the ghosts that we talked about. We have the forest bats, and that's it. So this deck is going to be sleeved in the Katana Reds, and then we're going to use the red and black deck box. So hang tight. All right, and there you have it. We have the Dragoncraft Rowan deck and the Abysscraft Luna deck. Now, while I was sleeving these up and going through them, I gotta say the Katana sleeves are, I don't know, they feel really good. I'm a big fan of Dragon Shield, and especially these matte, but I do think the shuffle on the Katana is better. Not to say one's better than the other, but I might start buying more Katana shields in the future. But for today, that is it. I just want to thank you all for coming and hanging out after such a long hiatus. Everybody that has stuck around and supported and watched videos without any uploads and commented and been on the Patreon. You guys are the real heroes. I'm excited to be coming back and doing this. If you want to see more Shadowverse stuff, like gameplay or explanation on how the game works or anything, let me know. Just drop it a comment, say, hey, I'm interested in Shadowverse. I will say we're on a clock because right around the corner is the release of the new Bandai Gundam TCG. And I'll tell you guys right now, I'm gonna go hard on it, and I'm probably gonna pivot to that being my main game. I'm super duper excited. I'm so excited that I've actually got something coming in the mail that's very special, and you guys will get to see it soon. But let me know what you want to see. If you want to see more Shadowcraft or Shadowverse, if you're interested in Gundam, let me know. If not, I'm sorry, because there's going to be a lot of it. But I just want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be sharing stuff with you guys again, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks.